Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And we are going to be doing that with my deck of I am cards. This deck of I am cards is full of positive affirmations. And yeah, we are going to go through one of them today. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so very much for being here. I want to say thank you guys. It's so fun to have you here. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Maya, Amanda, Shauna. Let's see who else is here. I have good morning, Brenda Jean, Janet. And I think that is about it for today. At least the folks who have left comments. It is wonderful to have you guys here. So thank you so much for being here. To answer your question, Brenda Jean, no, the wake up call does not usually go 2 or 3 minutes after the start time. I was just having some technical issues on my side, so resolving those and figuring out why on earth my microphone wasn't working. And yeah, so that's why the intro went a little bit long today. Anyways, it is wonderful to have y'all here. Hey, Janet, it's nice to see that you are back at PVR and in your nest. It sure is good snuggle weather. It is cold out today. Oh my gosh, the cold is just seeping in. I hope that everybody is keeping warm. And yeah, Amanda says it's the same over in Charleston as well. It is so cool. It is so cool to have all of my friends here and to just connect with you guys. I just feel like I have a wonderful community of people that I get to talk to and just kind of connect with folks that I might not see every day. So thanks for being on the wake up call. Anyways, we are here to say some nice stuff about ourselves. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. I'm going to ask you guys if you are the affirmation on the card. We're going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. As we use these incredibly powerful words, the words I am, the present form of to be, we are speaking life into ourselves. You know, the world doesn't really speak life into us. In fact, I find myself oftentimes having to deal with people who have the the idea that in order for them to to build themselves up, that they have to put somebody else down, and and so because of that, I feel like that's just the way that a lot of people think. And we know that a rising tide raises all ships, and so let's rise the tide, and let's rise the tide of our own consciousness by affirming something good about us. So yeah, let's have some fun today. Let's pull a card and let's get to it. All right, so the card today is, there we are. I am focused. I am focused. I leverage my resources and get results. So I am focused. I leverage my resources and get results. Are you focused? You are focused. You leverage your resources and get results. So I'm going to write that down in the chat. We're going to talk about that here for a bit. But I am focused. I leverage my resources and get results. Amanda and Lauren and Brenda Jean are all beating me to it. But I am focused today. I leverage my resources and get results. So I remember that I read this this very powerful book. It was called The One Thing. And the whole point of the book was that that when we focus on one thing, that we are able to move that one thing forward. And that it basically was just talking about how in our modern world, that there's so much other stuff that we could be focusing on. There's so much distraction. There's so many things that don't matter. And in many cases, these things are just they're just sitting in our pocket. My cell phone is sitting in my pocket, and I find myself scroll holing way more often than I would care to admit to myself. And I know about it, and I still notice how often it happens. I notice that I hop on the phone to check my email or something, or because I have somebody to talk to, and then 20 minutes later, I'm like, why am I on Facebook? Why am I on Instagram? Why haven't I message the person that I needed to message. Why am I doing this? And of course, the reason is because Facebook and Instagram have a very highly paid team of people whose job it is to make sure that I hop on their platform, that instead of messaging my friend like I wanted to do, that I am looking at advertisement after advertisement after advertisement. And so focus is a superpower. We have the ability to just do one thing, and in that ability, that lies the ability to be effective to get things done. And I remember that. I remember that I was, you know, I was working over on Maui, and I was not particularly focused. I was just kind of going through my day-to-day job, but I was always working on 3, 4, 5 different things all at the same time, and none of them were moving forward because I was working on 5 of them at the same time. So yeah, they would all get a little bit of stuff done, but never enough to be effective, never enough to get a result. And I remember one day I just sat down and I said, and I looked at, I made a list of what do I like about what I do, what don't I like about what I do, and how can I really focus on the things that I do like? How can I double down on the stuff that I do like, and let the other things fall by the wayside. Delegate that stuff to somebody else. And I sat down and I wrote a list of the things I do and don't like. And then I wrote up an ideal job description for myself. And then I made up a presentation for my bosses about how I could segue into that sort of a job description. And it didn't happen overnight, but I absolutely was eventually able to focus on the things that I was good at. And I had kind of worked myself into a job role that I very much enjoyed, that I was excited to go to every single day. Brandon G wants to know about the book Finish. Okay, so the book Finish, it's by a guy named John Acuff, and he talks about the power of finishing things, and the couple really salient points in that book, especially as they pertain to focus, are that. So first of all, there is nothing so attractive as something new when we are almost done with what we're currently working on. So when we are 90% finished with whatever it is that we're working on, something new will come up, and we will be so excited to start on that new thing. We won't want to do anything except that new thing, and it's not effective for us to do that. It's effective for us to finish the one thing and then work on the second thing. But the fact is that second thing becomes very, very attractive to us before our excuse me. Right before we are finished up with the first. So 10 minutes before we're finished with our goal, we want to give up on that goal completely because it's not it's not as interesting to us, and then we want to start something new. Excuse me. All right. So anyways, that's the first major takeaway I had from the book Finish. The second major takeaway I had from it was that kind of similar to what Brennan Jean says. As soon as it starts to get difficult, we want to shift our focus to something else. It's very easy to 80% finish something. It is difficult to 100% finish something. Thank you, Amanda. I'm so glad I have a mute button on my mic. Anyways, so the other thing that really stuck out to me about the book Finish was that we all have a day after perfect. The day after perfect is what happens the day that we mess up. So we decide that we're going to do something, and then we work at it diligently every day. And then one day we don't. One day we get sick. One day we get distracted. One day something different happens, and we don't work on that project, or we don't move forward on it as fast as we want to. And then it is so tempting to just say, well, I didn't do it perfectly, and so I'm not going to do it anymore. Because we have been trained societally to believe that we have to be perfect, that everything that if we don't do it right, then it's not worth doing at all. Or I'm sure you've heard the phrase, if it's not done well, it's not worth doing at all. And because we have this running around in our heads, the moment that we are imperfect, it is so easy to give up and just to not do it. And the fact is that when we can just just pick up again and say, okay, I did it on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and then on Saturday I didn't do it, and then picking it up again on Sunday, that right there is how we leverage our resources. That is how we leverage our time resource, and that's how we get things done. And so we have to forgive ourselves when we're not perfect. When I first started to do the wake up call, there was a couple times that I just overslept, and the wake up call didn't happen because I overslept. And I had a couple of people who messaged me and said, "Are you okay? Where's the wake up call?" And you know, there was a part of me that was like, "Oh my goodness, I have failed. I have done an awful job. This will never work. I cannot be held responsible for getting myself out of bed every morning and doing this." And I wanted to give up. And the next day, as I woke up, even though I woke up on time, I was like, well, do I really want to do a wake up call? Do I want to really be responsible for that? Do I really want to have everybody, you know, looking to me to do this thing? And that was the point where I had to focus on it, where I had to say, okay, well, I love to do this. This is a lot of fun, and this is very powerful and impactful for me. And I believe that it's powerful and impactful for others. That's why they show up to watch it. And at that moment, that was the decision point where I said, okay, well, let's just keep on doing this. And that happened a couple times. That didn't just happen once. That happened a couple times where I said, oh, I should just give up. I wasn't perfect. I should just give up. The fact is that once that the moment that we are willing to entertain the idea of giving up the things that are important to us is the most important moment for us. It is more important than the moment that we decided to do it. The moment that we decided to do it. Starting things is wonderful. Finishing things is is way more powerful. And so the other thing to recognize is that we are never truly finished with what we do. We can call things finished and then move along. We can give ourselves the gift of being finished. But the fact is that our goals, our dreams are necessarily going to evolve because we are evolving human beings as we continue to live life. As we continue to figure out what works best for us, we will continue to develop new dreams, new desires, and then it's very important for us to remain focused on the ones that are most important. Abraham Hicks has this term called rockets of desire, and she says that we are machines that launch rockets of desire out into the universe, and that is what we do as we live. We see something, we want it. We think of something, we want it. Well, that's wonderful. And in order to have it, just like a rocket is focused on getting itself up into space, we also must be focused on leveraging our resources and getting that desired result, because we can have it. You can have the things that you want. I can have the things that I want. We can have the things that we desire to have. But in order to do that, we simply must work toward them a little bit every day. Incremental improvement is how it gets done. It doesn't get done by making one gigantic leap at a time. It happens one little step at a time. And thank you, Brenda Jean. I love that you are a person who holds me accountable. You absolutely do, and it's one of the things that I adore about you. So yeah, that book, Finish, was profoundly impactful in my life, and it was honestly one of the first books that I finished. I own a lot of books. I don't finish a lot of books. I skim a lot of books, read a lot of books, cliff notes a lot of books. But I felt like the book Finish really ought to be finished. And so I remember it was one of the first books that I read beginning to end, without skipping around in it, without just moving around in it with a highlighter, the way that I tend to work on books. I mean, I read it beginning to end, and then I signed it at the end. I said, I have finished this book. I signed it and moved forward with my life. So we are focused people. Let's use this card as a reminder today for us to leverage the resources we have and to get the results we desire. We are all working with the same 24 hours today, and some people have an incredible amount of stuff that they accomplish in 24 hours, and other people don't seem to accomplish anything in those 24 hours. And it's not about having more or less time. It's about how we spend that time. So let's make sure that we spend that time in a way that's wise today. And yeah, for me, that means that when I go to send somebody a message, that I don't end up on Facebook, that I don't end up on YouTube. I actually removed YouTube from my phone because of what a time waster it was in my life. Um, and so I already know what my action steps are, and recognizing it is the first step to mitigating it. We have to recognize there's a problem before we can do anything about it. And so, I recognize the ways that my phone can steal 20, 30 minutes of my day if I'm not careful. And yeah, because I recognize that, I'm able to mitigate it. So I am focused today, and I know my friends are also focused. I know that all of us are focused on good stuff because every single person on this call has achieved amazing results in your life. I know. I watch your lives, and you watch mine too. And I'm grateful because I recognize that all of us are moving in the direction of our dreams, and that's why I hang out with y'all. And that's I hope why one of the reasons why you hang out with me, because you make me better. You make me a better person just by being in your presence. So thank you for that. So, all right. So we are finished up for the day. I appreciate you guys being here. I love you and appreciate you. And we'll return tomorrow with another wake up call. We will be focused once again on another positive card tomorrow. And even though sometimes I wake up late or I don't feel inspired to do a wake up call, you can count on me to continue to do this and to continue to do it even when it's not perfect, because continuing to do things even when they're not perfect is how everything gets done. So I'll speak with you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, yeah, like I said, I love you and appreciate you. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Aloha from paradise.